Sleep. Step away from the laptop, really. You don't want to get burnt out. Because the answer is not really on the laptop. It's really up here. It's just for you to think. You don't want to just remain burnt out thinking through what is not. Have a drink, have some food, and sleep. Paralysis will be out in no time.
There's this ongoing debate, right? That women use Piggyvest more. Just blink if it's true. All right.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to another episode of the Data and AI Gist podcast. I have an interesting guest here for you today. And as you already know, this is the platform to come to learn about analytics, data, AI, and everything in between, for your career growth and also for business successes. I have with me here today a very, very interesting guest that I pulled out from his very busy schedule to be here to speak with you all and also learn from actual builders in this space. I'm here with Seyi, who works as an analytics engineer at Piggyvest. If you've ever imagined how your reports get done, you see your Piggyvest reports. If you don't know about Piggyvest, he will tell you about them, but
download Piggyvest.
But if you've seen a report from Piggyvest, there are people behind it, and Seyi is a very key player in that space, and we'll be taking the conversation across other talking points. It's so good to have you here today.
Yeah, thanks for having me, Philip.
All right, we call him Starboy. So tell us, who is Seyi for our audience?
Okay. Well, Seyi is just a simple guy, to be honest. But Seyi is also an analytics engineer, and I've been one for roughly 5 years now, right? Yeah, and it's been an interesting one. Well, yeah, that's
awesome. Yes. Okay, no problem. So just for the sheer reality of the impact of the work you do, how do you go to bed or not walk around with your shoulder high up that, millions of people are seeing things I do, just humor me.
Well, it's important not to get carried away, to be honest, because, you can say, what you're doing, your work is being noticed by, a lot of people, a lot of app users. An example would probably be for WIC results, for example. When that report goes out, it's a lot of, there's a lot of buzz around it. Yeah. And, of course, you can't keep your shoulders high because of that. Yeah. You need to make sure, everything aligns, your data is accurate, you just need to make sure you can't, as soon as you feel that way, trust me,
something is already
something.
Love it. But how did Seyi, our Starboy, how did you become an analytics engineer? Share your career story with us.
Okay, so I studied psychology. I'm a graduate of psychology from Obafemi Awolowo University. And during my NYSC, I was working as a child and educational psychologist.
Okay.
Yeah, so that was between 2019 and 2020. And it was fun while it lasted, but I knew that I wanted a career change, right? So I thought about it. I was looking into, what could really be, interesting enough for me that I could do in the long run. And for some reason, I was looking at HR analytics. Right now I don't even know what that is. Yeah. But I was looking at that, and then, I started taking up some HR courses. I wanted to really get into that. But then at some point I realized it was too many exams involved.
Too many exams to write.
So I abandoned that and just focused on the analytics. Okay. And luckily for me, I have an uncle that is has almost 20 years of experience in the analytics space. So I started learning from him, and then from there, down to Wema Bank, down to Piggyvest.
Oh yeah. Awesome. That is really incredible.
Yeah.
So you mentioned you are now an analytics engineering. I remember a couple of years back, I knew you as a data engineer.
Yeah.
So can you tell us how that role comes to be, and what comes up to be analytics engineering?
Okay. So it's more like an intersection of a data analyst and a data engineer, really.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
So, for me, I was, of course, like most of us really started off as your regular data analyst, pulling up dashboards, writing SQL. And, that was like interesting for the most part. And then, I was to get into Wema, and they needed a data engineer, not an analyst.
Okay.
And pretty much the data engineering bit is just migrating data from point A to point B. That's all there is, So it gets deeper than that, but then that's the whole point of it. Correct. So I did that for a bit, I learned all there was to the engineering parts, especially for my role at the time, and then got involved with that. And I realized my role was not just the, just migrating the data, there was a lot more to it. You need to validate the data you've migrated. You need to optimize for speed. You need to start looking into several things, start looking at the structuring of that data, how you're storing it. There was just a lot going on into it. And, you're now analyzing, not for business, right? You're just analyzing the data you have, migrated. So there was just, so there was all of that bit. And I found that, a bit more, interesting. So, technically I just do a bit of both of everything, just the engineering, the dashboards, all of that. I do that.
So that means for someone that has like a natural, desire for the world of engineering, data engineering and data analytics, analysis as it is, this is a role to play at.
Oh, yes. Yes, it is. So for one, you need to be well grounded as an analyst. You need to understand all the requirements. You need to be great at it. Yeah. So start with that.
Yeah, because it's a valid advice, because some people think you can just jump from being a data science analyst to be them becoming a data engineer. Just I can write SQL queries, I can write Power BI, I can build the Power BI dashboard. So I'm already an analytics engineer.
Yeah. No, well, that's not really the case. So for one, the foundation is really just the analytics part of it. So you're writing your SQLs, understanding the business, and answering business questions. That's the foundation, right? And once you're good at that, you can start looking into the engineering bit, migrating the data, storing the data, and you can always. It's also a good place for you if you have an eye for speed. So for someone like me, I'm all about speed. So I like things moving fast, like data. I like when it moves fast. I like data. I like cars. I like airplanes. Things that move. So far it moves fast, I'm awesome. Interested. Yeah. So I think that was what did it for me. I just knew, okay, the engineering bit would be more of an interest for me, and just merging everything together.
Okay. Yeah. So let's talk about the work side of things now. So you work at Piggyvest, as we've mentioned earlier. Yeah. How does it feel to work at a fast-paced organization like startups, like a startup, right? Especially one that your work is known and trusted by millions of people. And I say this because we've done research at Decision Spark Technologies around saving culture in Nigeria, and Piggyvest always ranks high amongst FinTech solutions that people trust to save their money with. So how do you handle such demands of such a role?
We both work together. So, from the banking experience, you get to learn. You get to learn how the fast-paced environment works. I think in Nigeria, that's probably the fastest because you're working with people's money. If nobody has time to. You can't.
Nigerians' money, not just
exactly
any people.
Nigerians' money. So you have to learn to deal with how fast paced it is. There's a bit of rush that comes with it, and you tend to enjoy it over time. Yeah. So learned that, over the years, at the bank, and then, it's no different in a startup. Yeah, it's no different in a startup. So, you need to learn, how to, relax. You also understand that there's no time for you to get overwhelmed. Yeah. So.
Okay.
Yeah, there's no time.
So, let's talk about like the data analytics landscape in Nigeria and across Africa. Yeah. What roles do you start to see startups play, as people that are somewhat closer to this, to the populace, so to speak, right? What roles do you start to see them play in the data analytics field or landscape in Africa and Nigeria? Just your thought, yeah.
Yeah, you must have probably done some research on that, where
the
people that use
did,
data the most.
Yes. So we did, I would even explain it this way. So we first discovered that, there are over 100,000, analytics professionals in Nigeria alone.
Yeah.
There's about 400,000 in Africa as a whole. So that's 400,000 people serving an entire population in billion
and growing.
Yeah. So you start to wonder, do we need more? The people that are already in that space, do they need to learn? Do they need to even do more? Do organizations need to adopt these practices more? And it can be dissected however. So just your own thoughts. How do you think startups can play in that space?
It's an interesting one because I feel, based off the values I've seen over the last couple of months, I know that startups are one of the biggest users of data, right? They use it for decision making. They use it for, quite a number of things. And it's just quite interesting to see.
Can you give us an example?
I would say at my workplace, there's no action that's done without considering the data side of it. Yeah,
wonderful.
So there's some research. We just don't take any action without looking into the data.
Awesome.
So and I know many other companies that do such. We're doing that right at So even in the banks we do that. So startups are definitely playing that role. Where they are at the forefront of using data for decision making.
Okay.
And so they are pioneers, really. Yeah.
Okay. So there's something about Africa. A lot of people are starting to look inward, or should I say even look from external countries around the world. People are starting to look into Africa as the possibilities around growth for analytics and every moving part of it. What really would you say excites you about, Africa being this growing economy, so to speak, and the impact of analytics in between?
My genuine excitement for the future is to see more people, like more genuinely interested people in the data space.
Okay.
And I want to see more of data personnel at the forefront of decision making. Right. And I feel that's important because what we need to get beyond building dashboards, building pipelines, building models, and go into those, decisions. Because what we tend to do is we do those things and then hand it over and move on past it. I think in the next, I'm curious to see what we, what would have in the next 5 years. I want to see people more involved in more data personnel, more involved in the engineering aspects of things, down to compliance, down to marketing,
down to the business,
just making
awesome.
making
and
those
I think
decisions.
that is incredible because the next question I was going to ask you is how your suggestions about dealing with something called analysis paralysis. We use this word as a lingua in the space where you're just very good at just analyzing and always analyzing and releasing it out for teams, releasing it out to customers, right?
Yeah.
As an analytics engineer, how do you handle analysis paralysis and also even filter the noise, right, in this analytics space?
Sleep. It's very important. So you don't want to get burnt out, just step away from the laptop, really. I think a lot of us in the data space do that, or most software engineers also do that, where you feel, because the answers is not really on the laptop, it's really up here. It's just for you to think and think through. So you don't want to just remain burnt out thinking through what is not. Have a drink, have some food, and sleep. Paralysis will be out in no time. So that's how I deal with it.
Awesome. And that's a good advice because truly when you actually detach from that situation, you realize that something even becomes clearer for you.
Correct.
I've had situations where I'm on a project, analytics project, and I just put my laptop to the side and just sleep or just take a walk. Right. And by the time I'm probably coming back or waking up, I just get clarity on that logic I'm trying to use for a particular problem. Okay. Before we go ahead, there's this ongoing debate, right? That women use Piggyvest more.
Okay.
In what world can you just blink if it's true? All right.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Okay, let's go on ahead. But if you could wave a wand stick now, okay, and just, any wish you want to come to pass, especially in the analytics space in Nigeria, by extension into Africa, what would you like to see? For me, if I was asked that question, if I was given a one stick now, it would be to drastically reduce the number of drifters we have in this space.
Yeah.
People that probably haven't written a line of code in SQL to work analyzing data in Excel, to building models in Python, or even applying knowledge to business, like actively being in this space, but they are, experts, talkers about these things, and you see them out there on so many platforms, for example, misguiding audiences, misguiding people, right? In your own opinion, if you could wave a one stick, what would you like to see?
I would definitely love to see less of that. Because we, like you just said, we have a lot of people who do not really have, that experience, just throwing those buzzwords around, talking more about how we take our jobs.
Everything is going to change. I see those tweets on X, right? The world is already changing. AI is this and that.
Yeah. I mean, to a large extent, they might be right.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, but then it comes
to some extent. The probably where parts we have a problem with is when they start to misguide people.
Yeah.
Because people are trying to grow up into the role, and you now start to realize that people are getting more confused. Yeah. So when you work with some of these people that are coming into the role, you now realize that there's a knowledge gap as well. Yeah. Because the expectation is not matching reality.
Correct. There's a lot of talk around that and field promises that you just goes on and on. Yeah. Right. But I feel what I would want to see more, rather than throwing a lot of all those buzzwords around, is, I have a few right here, because I was thinking through it and I was thinking, okay, people should talk more, about things necessary for AI improvement, AI management, right? Yeah. Stop telling people, AI will take their jobs. Stop, prompting them to, upskill, start thinking about some certain things,
True.
Things are okay, AI will take your jobs, but then other jobs are coming up, right? There's prompt engineering, we did have that 5 years ago, and there's AI management, that's a full master's degree.
Data governance now is huge,
exactly.
People are still not huge, even aware about that role.
Exactly. So I feel there should be more conversations around that, more conversations about, okay, how to use AI in your day-to-day activities. You see a lot of people are still shy to use AI. They're still shy to use their chat GPT, they feel somehow like, oh, okay, this is doing this. I mean, maybe as a developer or someone writing codes, of course, you will understand what needs to be done, right? You don't just want the AI to write everything for you, right? But at the same time, that's no big deal, infusing it into your day to day. So, why not talking about that more rather than,
okay. And that's spot on, as well. But let's move on to something about your daily life regarding, analytics that you do. So, in this space as well, there's a lot of new information always coming out, right? Before you blink your eye, you see another person or another company release something that has pushed the frontier even further. You're just trying to learn one tool, another tool is out that can do something else that better, How would you say you handle TMI, too much information in this analytics space? In the tech space, generally we talk about this TMI thing, but in the analytics space more specifically, right? How do you handle this, especially with relations to the quality of work you do, we in a place like Piggyvest?
When you say TMI, is it TMI to the public or TMI to the AI?
TMI to yourself as a professional, where there's just so much information that you want to improve yourself, you want to make your processes better.
I see. You can always just filter it out. Focus on, things that are priority.
How to filter the noise.
Exactly. You need to filter out the noise. Focus on things that are priority, for you, for your growth, for your company as a business.
How do you know what is priority for your growth? Because these are, and I'm asking this question because it's a conversation I had, with a couple of people as well. And it's a real problem people are facing. They don't even know what to focus on because everything just feels overwhelming.
Take it a step at a time, really. What problem are you trying to solve? right?
That moment.
In that moment, right? For your company, for example, even while working, you don't use all the tools, right? You see most people trying to get into the space, they're learning everything all at once.
There was a data scientist that was going to start learning with Python and she got confused and she's abandoned and she went for Power BI, got confused and just...
You need to have a plan, right? Understand what you are trying to solve for.
Yeah.
And then, learn and innovate in that line. So for your business, say in a calendar year, you guys, or a financial year, you guys know what you're trying to achieve for that financial year. You, as a data analyst or, analytics engineer, you're looking at, okay, this is the, priority for the business right now. How can I innovate in that line? So you need to think of things like that.
So can you also even shed some light if you're going to look at it from the perspective of a company that wants to put guardrails in place for their employees to just like filter out the noise as well? What suggestions can you have for such? And this is to like, there are founders out there, there are CEOs out there, there are leaders out there that may want to also take this information, they may be watching this, take this information to their teams. Yeah.
I'll say the goal is clarity, right? So, clarify all that needs to be done, to every aspect of the business, every department. And then you go from there to action, right? Take actions based on that, then get feedbacks and then improve on that.
Okay. Thank you very much, Seyi. It's been incredible talking with you.
Yeah.
And this is still the Data and AI Gist for anyone listening or watching us right now.
Yeah.
If you find this interesting, please share with people that are in your circle, people that you think would find this also interesting and helpful for their careers, because we're out here educating people to actually know what it entails to be in this space and build careers and solutions in the data and analytics world. It's time to blow your trumpet, Seyi. Right. Yes. And I know this is something that you typically will shy away from, but as I said to you before we started recording, that I'm going to make you blow your trumpet. So what would you say has been the most incredible thing that you did early on, that happened to you early on in your career, that sort of tailored you towards your journey into what you do today?
I wouldn't say the most incredible, but definitely the move that that set me up, to be where I am right now. And that's taking up a leadership role, early on. So most times we never see the impact of that until we actually get to experience that. Yeah. So I took on a couple of data engineers, right, while I was at Wema, and that alone, I think that's did some bit of time travel with my level of growth in data at the time. So because now I was more responsible for
other people,
and then and now to start thinking in that line, creating best practices for how we wanted to work, as a team and all that. So I think that alone was like the
awesome.
Yeah, was like the.
So it even sets you to build like a structure.
Yeah.
As well into the role.
Yeah. And I think more team leads need to probably do that, hand out more responsibilities to people that report to you, just to make them feel seen. I mean, also it helps them grow, right? It helps them take accountability for a lot of things. So it definitely helps.
All right. Thank you once again, Seyi. Before we go, based on your knowledge and expertise in this space, what advice, and it could be on anything, what advice do you have for somebody out there watching this that you think they will find useful and will help their career? And it could be an advice for people that are just starting out, people that are already working in the space, or people that are looking to then even get into these leadership roles you mentioned.
That's a good one.
Yeah.
Okay. I'd say, don't filter out the noise, like we mentioned earlier. You don't need to, learn everything all at once. Learn to solve a problem. That's one. And sometimes some of these skills are transferable. So you learn Power BI, for example.
Yeah.
Right. The skills on Power BI, they're transferable to Tableau. I mean, of course, there's a lot of differences here and there, but in the long run, it's ultimately the same thing. So you want to, you can now, once you learn one, create a project on the other tool that's similar, and then attempt something on there. And then once that's done, keep practicing, get better, and then upskill. Right, you need to upskill or you get left behind.
Oh yeah,
yeah.
And it's right, because as you just even mentioned earlier, that this space, there's always new information coming out. Yeah. Somebody's currently working on a system that we use today, right now, that to just make it even more efficient, so that we can get our insights out faster, we can advise businesses faster, make data-driven decisions faster, and a couple of things. Thank you very much, Seyi, for coming on the Data and AI Gist
Thanks for
podcast.
having me.
And it has been an incredible gist, speaking with Seyi, who is an analytics engineer at Piggyvest. Thank you once again.
Thank you so much for having me.
So if you are out there and you are looking out for how to start your career, there are so many possibilities. But what you must do is to be intentional about your career growth. Like we like to say, stay curious and keep questioning. Till we see you again for the next episode. Bye for now.